Hello, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are today. I am Marta Jimenez Lutter, and I am the manager of candidate and student engagement for the Society of Actuaries. And today we have a very special panel of actuarial candidates, very accomplished actuarial candidates, who are going to share with us some of their tricks and tips about exams, jobs, anything that they think is valuable for you to know about the actuarial profession and their journey. I want to tell you that while I have some questions prepared, I really want you, the attendees, to ask the questions. At the bottom of your screen, there is a button where you can type in your questions. It says Q&A. I will recommend that you do that. We are going to answer the questions in the order that they are received. So you can start typing your question whenever you want, whenever they pop in your mind. And we are definitely going to, hold on, somebody has, I cannot hear you, but if you have any questions, just type it in the bottom and we will be able to read it. If the Q&A is not working for you, you can also enter them in the chat. So without further ado, I am very pleased to welcome Simran Bhagat, Ethan Rojek, and Dean Eliopoulos to this Lunch and Learn for Candidate Connect. I am going to let each one of them tell you a little bit about themselves and why they decided to become actuaries and where they're working currently. Simran, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Simran Bhagat, and I'm a recent graduate of Drake University, which is in Des Moines, Iowa. I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Business Administration in Actuarial Science and Finance, and I also had minors in Risk Management and Insurance and Data Analytics. And this fall, I will be starting as an Actuarial Associate with KPMG here in the Chicago office in their life practice. And I chose a career in actuarial science because actuarial science allows me to combine three of my passions, which are math, business, and people. So to be able to use my math skills to help people solve real-world business problems is what excites me about the field, and specifically about the field in life insurance. So happy to take any questions related to any of the things I mentioned or anything about the candidate process.
Thank you, Simran. Ethan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself too?
All right. Hi, I'm Ethan Rojek. I'm a 2022 graduate from Carleton College. I got a degree in pure mathematics. I am currently working as an actuarial analyst in pension and health at Chiron Inc. in their Chicago office. And I got into the actuarial profession because I knew throughout college I was probably going to end up going into some sort of mathematical career. And as I started looking into it, actuarial science seemed like a very good option. It pays well. It's interesting statistically. It has a lot of computer science elements, which is something I was always good at. And so I started taking exams and I'm here now.
Very good. Thank you, Ethan. And last but not least, Dean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dean Eliopoulos. I am also a current new grad from DePaul University. I studied actuarial science and data science there. And currently now I'm working at Milliman in the Seattle health practice. I started about 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing the health consulting side of it. And I would say the biggest reason about joining actuarial as a college student and choosing the major was the fact that it utilized math, it paid well, it incorporated business as well. So that was also kind of the same reasons as Simran and Ethan. So I feel like everyone's kind of in the same boat with that.
Very good. I have one question already for you, so let's get it started. To all the speakers, how many exams did you take before you applied to your current job?
I can start with that one. So before I accepted my full-time offer, I had 4 exams passed, and I should say that one of them was earned through UEC credit because I do attend a CAE. But I know on average, students out of college are coming out with 2 to 3 to get a job. So if that's helpful.
That is very helpful. Okay.
I'll go in the same order, I guess. I went for pure mathematics in college, so I basically didn't do any actuarial stuff, but I graduated a bit early, so I was able to take an exam in that sort of weird period before graduation, but after I was done with college. And I took P, and I managed to get an internship with just P, and I finished FM and landed that into a promotion into a full-time position.
Within the same company that you did your internship with?
Yep.
Okay. Dean, do you have any additional?
When I was applying for my Milliman job and got it, I at that point had 5 exams and 2 of the modules completed.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Let's go. There's a lot of questions. I have a long gap in maths. Currently, I'm exploring to pursue actuarial, expecting to begin with FM exam in December. Any tips for me? How much calculus? How important is calculus?
I can go first with this one.
Sure.
Calculus is not necessarily prominent. I believe there's only one section that incorporates like integrals or derivatives. That's complexities, and that aspect, as well as I'm pretty sure one of the I think it's one of the original sections. It's something very tiny.
Mhm.
I would just say keep hammering. You can learn and read it. It's a lot of it's like 60-70% of theory, and then 30% grinding and pounding and doing a lot of questions. And a lot of them tie together, which is really interesting. And then when you really understand it, it's really just one theory stretched out to a bunch of formulas. So just, I guess, keep doing it until eventually it clicks in that head.
Yeah, I would say having a solid understanding of Calc 1 and 2 will probably be good. I'm studying for FAM right now, and I still need to know how to do integration by parts, if that means anything to you. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Calc is useful for some exams, less useful for other exams, but it's good to always have that foundation, but you're not often going to be using every single formula on every single exam.
Is there any, are there any tools or anything that you know of that candidates can use to brush up on their calculus?
I think Coaching Actuaries has like appendix stuff that has like basics of
Yeah.
calculus, but also half the time I just like Googled the formula for integration by parts.
Okay.
Yeah, or if I'm lucky and I know I've saved some of my old things from AP calculus, I'll go and dig through that paperwork and those notes that I have.
Good tip. The next question we have is from Seng Cheng, who is a career changer. And he says, hey there, I'm a career changer from physics, so I don't have any related experience. Right now, I have 3 exams passed. Would you suggest me doing it to show my capability? So I think what he wants to know is if it would be better for him to take more exams in order to apply for jobs or internships, or if he should just start looking and then continue.
I'd
I
say
mean,
with
go ahead.
I'd say with 3 exams under your belt, that's a great place to start. A lot of companies will look at that and say, you know something, and will probably help you study for more.
Yeah, I mean, if you can show that you have the ability to pass exams, companies are going to want to hire you because they believe in your ability to do that. The only thing I'd really recommend is maybe working on programming languages so you can show that you have at least some beginner experience in those, like R, SAS, a little bit of Python, SQL. Having those technical skills will also help you stand out.
Both of what they said was correct, especially what Simran said. I think that the technical skills actually help you a lot more, especially in that first when you're starting the job, especially if you have them under your belt versus exam knowledge. I think those deep theories are not necessarily applicable towards any real job, especially your first 6 months or so. But I mean, if money's not the issue while you're still applying, and I say shoot for the stars and keep taking exams if you want to. All it's gonna do is help your process for the rest of your time.
Yes. And I just want to remind everybody that with your free affiliate membership, you also have free access to our studio, which is a sandbox platform where you can learn more about R and practice it. And we have data sets for you. There are also a couple of courses on Excel and Excel like basic and advanced, and then there's also some Python in your online courses. So this is all available to you through your affiliate membership. I hope that you guys are taking advantage of that. The next question comes from Dylan Capes. I hope I pronounced that correctly. What tips do you have for current students who are interested in this field? What are some important things to keep in mind while finishing a bachelor's?
I think Dean hit on it earlier. Keep taking exams, keep grinding through your exams, show that you can pass them and pass them quickly. Another thing is to grow your network. LinkedIn is such a great platform, and also having access to the affiliate membership. You can see all of the different SOA members that are out there around the globe. And so making sure that you're connecting with people in areas that you might be interested in and asking them how they got to where they are, or kind of creating a roadmap for yourself of what you would want your career to look like.
Dean, Ethan, anything to add to that?
I think one of the other big things is just to like take some classes that are relevant to the field. I did a pure math degree, so any actuarial stuff I did was like I wanted to branch out and take some stats classes, and taking stats classes, I was like, oh, this is enjoyable. This is something I like doing. So it's good to sort of branch out and see that you'd actually enjoy doing these sorts of problems.
Very good. I am going to put in the chat the link for SOA Explorer, which is, I think, one of the tools that Simra was mentioning. This is an interactive map that shows you where members, jobs, students, universities are around the world. You just have to put your location and it will show you what is around you. So that's very useful. The next question is from Aida Jalal, and she asked, how can I choose what are the exams that I should take? Maybe going a little bit into what you think, like the first two exams to take and how to go from there.
I can answer this one. So the first two are obvious. It's PM and it's P and FM. And then after that, it gets convoluted because it kind of depends on your situation. Do you want to pound them out and go fast, or do you want to, really be tedious about it? Because if you're going to be tedious, I think going the SRM and then PA route, or going FAM and ASTAM or ALTAM route is more ideal, going one and then the other one, so that it kind of foundations off it. But I'm pretty sure how it formats is that SRM and FAM are scheduled 3 months away from each other. So you can go, what I did was SRM, FAM, PA, and now ASTM. I think you could choose either or, but if I were to recommend to somebody, I would say go the FAM route, because I think that gives you a foundation about short-term and long-term care, and that can help you in your job more than the data science aspect. I think the data science aspect is a lot more useful once you're in your work.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The SRM stuff, I've taken both SRM and FAM. SRM, I don't think has ever come up on my job, but a lot of the FAM stuff comes up, maybe not day to day, but every so often when I need a more conceptual understanding of things.
Very good. Thank you. Simran, you want anything to add anything?
No,
No.
they covered it.
I included also a link to an interactive pathway, the exam. So if you click on the exams and you click on, it will give you all the information about what the exams are, what they entail, the time that it takes them, and also some practice exams that you can see to kind of get an idea of what the exam looks like as you're preparing for it. The next question is, how did you all prepare for the probability exam? I'm going through a lot of practice problems on the SOA website, and I'm curious about what other things I can do to prepare. That's a very good question.
I'll just answer this one. Do more practice problems. If you know the theory, it's just about memorizing everything and then doing it until it's absolutely second nature. Use the right calculator. Just do them.
Yeah, I think doing them to the point where you can do a Poisson function so fastly in your calculator is definitely a help. It saves you a lot of time. A personal thing that I did, I made flashcards of all 17 distribution functions and added the mean, variance, and CDF and PDF. So I'd have one side of what's the negative binomial, and then in your head, you gotta say those four. So then when the time comes, you know all four fast instead of having to do any integrals.
Simran, any other tips?
Yeah, I did the flashcards as well. Quizlet, if people are more into that.
Are there
Shout out to
any apps
Anki.
that you guys use that with those flashcards, or do you do them the old-fashioned way in paper?
I use Anki, ANKI, which is a smart flashcard program, and has saved my life.
Okay, very good. Any other?
Yeah, I just use Quizlet.
Old-fashioned way.
So whether you're old-fashioned or you want to do it on your phone, that's also an idea. Thank you. Okay, the next question is how to prepare with the books recommended by the SOA? How to assemble the resources for maximum output without private coaching? Is it doable?
I mean, I'm sure it is. I am just so used to using coaching actuaries because they have everything prepared, like they have gone through the textbooks to pull out the content that matters most and to simplify it in pretty understandable terms. I feel like those textbooks can be pretty dense with a lot of academic verbiage, and that's not really something that I'd want to spend time reading when I'm trying to understand the concept. So yeah, I'm sure it can be done, but I'm still going to recommend using a manual that someone else has written.
Ethan, Dean, did you guys also use some help from an exam prep provider or?
For me personally, I studied for my first, I guess, 2.5 exams, basically just with the SOA provided textbooks because I wasn't an actuary yet and I wasn't going to pay all that money for coaching actuaries. I just got the textbooks that were recommended and took notes, and then took those notes, put them into flashcards, and studied with that. And for the later exams, especially if you do get an internship and your company is helping you study, they'll probably at least partially comp out coaching actuaries. But coaching actuaries was the most useful for me for generating practice problems. But for P and FM, the SOA provides plenty of those, so it's less of a problem.
Dean?
Same thing that Simran said, really. I did coaching actuaries for all 5 exams, except for, I think PA, I also used the ASTEC manual and read through that as well because that was just more of a newer exam. And I think I wanted some more insight rather than just the textbook. But yeah, I think coaching actuaries gives a good, it just kind of screenshots the same 3 or so pages that matter most. And I think that does a good enough job.
I've also included in the chat a link to past exams and solutions where you can see what the exams are structured, what the questions were, and the solutions, so that you, as you are preparing, you can kind of see what kinds of questions you're going to have, so you can prepare that way. A lot of our exams also have practice exams, so you can take a practice exam and see if you're ready to take it for real or if you still need a little more work. So those are ways that you can help yourself without having to hire somebody. But we are trying to give you guys tools that don't cost you any money. That's why the affiliate membership is free. The next question is asked all the time. Do you need to have an internship to get a job?
I can go first with this one. I think, I mean, it all depends on the situation. A lot of the times, like I think 80% of jobs come out of situations that you know someone at some point, whether it be from a networking event, a campus event. So the short answer is no, but I think internships are the weeding out factor when it comes to landing a very good job. So I think it's a weeding factor. But I think between that, I think exams, I think in general, just your people skills, your technical skills, I think it's all a combination, a blend. And I think you're better off having internships than not. But I don't think it's the defining factor. It's not like a binary thing.
Okay. Ethan or
Yeah,
Simran, do you have anything to add?
It's definitely a stepping stone, I think. You know, if you land an internship at a company and it goes really well, they could turn around and turn that into a full-time offer, and then you don't have to interview for another job. And you would accept that, obviously if you like the place that you're working at, but I would say it's pretty beneficial. But again, like if you can show that you can pass exams, you have the technical skills, I don't see why you couldn't interview for a job without having an internship.
Very good. I also wanted to ask maybe those of you who have gone on to be hired for full-time after having an internship, do you have any advice of how to make that happen? What things to do or not to do while you're doing the internship to make sure that your employer would want to hire you on as a full-time employee?
I think obviously make sure you're doing your work, asking questions regularly, making the extra effort to get to know people, even in upper level management, setting up time with them, showing that you're really interested in not just the work that you're doing, but the company as well, I think is important. Yeah, Dean, Ethan, if you guys have anything else to add to that.
I think also study. To tie it back to everything is while you're working, work on some exam, and then it looks better for future career prospects.
I think well, this question kind of applies to the whole social aspect of being an actuary, which it does not get enough credit. I think like it's 70% getting your name out there, being a good person, being someone that is positive every day. And I think Simran hit on the head. I don't think the technical skills are necessarily important during your internship because you're an intern for a reason. Like they think that you don't know much, which you probably don't. It's your first job. So it's really important to show that you want to get better. At least like ask questions, get engaged. I took a lot of notes whenever someone talked and told me information because there's no way you can remember all the information. So you always want to look at least like you are really engaged and make people happy, whether it be with your personality or with your work or your effort or your diligence.
Very good. Yes, we do always talk about networking to get the job, but it's also important to keep networking while you're in the job within your own company to get your name out, to make sure that people have, like you say, Dean, a positive impression of you and that they understand and they see that you're working hard, like Ethan and Simran were pointing out. So thank you for that. What are the programming languages that you use the most? What would you recommend that people starting out, the candidates, would learn? What programming languages?
I'll say at my job, I use SQL and whatever programming language Excel is basically every day. And I think maybe twice I've used Python. So it's good to have some familiarity with other languages, but just sort of know computer science in general more than any particular language, I'd say.
Dean and Simran, do you think there is an absolute must-have programming language?
I think like Excel is the must. I think you should think that you're proficient at Excel because obviously no one's proficient at Excel. There's always some 10 new things you can learn in a matter of like 10 seconds. But if you can think out of college, I'm pretty good with Excel, you'll be fine. And then maybe throughout college, flirt with one language or two. I mean, I did R and SAS. I use SAS now, but SQL, all the other ones kind of blend in with each other. The whole core concepts kind of stick. And no one expects you to be a 5 language proficient. But I think Excel is something that if you have a good grasp on, you'll be good at any job.
Yes, I've heard that over and over. And as I said before, you have 2 online courses for Excel. One is basic, one is advanced, that are available free to you in your affiliate membership. How many exams should I take to become a certified actuary?
Well, there's a number for that.
Yeah. I think I sent you, or I will send you a link to the exam pathway so that you see what exams and what modules you have to take to become an ASA, which is an associate of the Society of Actuaries, and which ones to become an FSA, which is the credential that you will get afterwards. You don't have to be an FSA. You can stop at ASA if you want. Stink Sheng, I am taking ASTEM October setting. May I ask you how you guys crack some deep theories like extreme value theory and Fisher information?
I'm studying for it right now too. I'm doing the same. I'm in the same boat as you. But the same thing I just said, I have coaching actuaries. The extreme value theory is very challenging. I think that's one of the most challenging things I've encountered throughout the pathway. What I've just been doing is just practice problems, flashcards. But then again, the flashcards are not necessarily as useful because they provide you with a little formula sheet for FAM and ASTAM. So, I mean, I just think seeing problems, even if you get them wrong, seeing the solution, going through in your head until you kind of get an idea of how the formula works.
Simran and Ethan, anything to add?
I didn't take ASTAM. Those terms scare me.
Very good. So Dean mentioned having 3 months between 2 exams. How long did you typically actually study for these exams? What is the average hours or days or months?
I'll say for me, I sort of track my time. I'm not going to pull it up right here, but generally I'll study around 200 hours per exam. I found that's a good level for me over the course of somewhere between, I think 2 months was my shortest and like 4 was my longest, but I like studying over a very long period of time. And I think that could have driven other people crazy. So a couple hundred hours is usually a good target, and how long it takes for you depends on how you're studying.
Simran, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think the recommended is 100 hours per hour of the exam. So I kind of try and target it around there. And like when I use coaching actuaries, for example, to study, they are really good about building you a schedule of how long you should be spending on each section of the manual and then how much time you should allocate to just doing practice tests and practice problems. So I follow that way, and that helps me get all my hours in.
Do you guys have any advice on how to juggle? Because I know a lot of people are juggling schoolwork, university, and exams, or they might be working full time. We have a lot of people that are math teachers or in other professions, and then they decide to take the actual exams. Any tips or tricks of how you manage your time to make sure that you can do both?
I think it's
Just
more of a
being
lifestyle thing
really
in
good.
general. I think it's just like a lifestyle thing, like being diligent. It's people like if you're willing to put in an hour or so a day, 2 hours a day, that's more of just like if you want to make time, you make time. That can be for working out, it can be for exams, it can be for whatever you do. So I mean, I think what Simran said was really good about proportionalizing your time. If you have 3 months and if you have a calendar and you hit checkpoints, to hold yourself accountable to that, the same way that you would for a workout routine once a week.
Yeah, I was
Right.
just gonna add, be really good with your calendar. Like if it's something that you really want to do, you'll schedule the time to do it. And if it's, for me, if it's on my calendar, then that's what I'm doing from 2 to 5 on Thursday afternoon. I'm studying. So it helps me stay accountable to that.
So you have it blocked in your calendars, study time.
I think the other thing is to just stay consistent. Don't push it all off towards the end. Even, it's good to study more towards the end because you need to keep things fresh, but don't just say, oh, well, I'll do that in a month, whatever. Make sure to space it out or you will not do it.
Yes, I think consistency is definitely the key, and having maybe a schedule that you follow, just like you follow a schedule for everything in your life. We have another question. Is a master's in economics beneficial to this field? Could the master's degree waive off some of the exams? I think that's a question.
I think if I know the pathway correctly, a master's degree in economics would waive you 1 credit. So it's probably helpful to knowing the field as a whole, but it's not going to get you much as far as exam credits goes.
I think you'll get a VEE in economics.
Yeah,
That's
I think
really
that
about
would be
it.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're gonna jump anybody and get into like an associate level job for it. I do think it's helpful in terms of getting your foot in the door, and if money's a factor and the company pays more for a master's degree, I mean, all power to you.
Mhm.
But I don't know, I don't think it necessarily will jump you have a line, whether it be from trajectory or credits.
Yeah.
Simran, I'm sorry. I don't know if I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Okay, another question here. How did you pick the focus you are in? Life, health, retirement, etc.
I can take this one first. So my first internship was with a property casualty company, and I just didn't really find the work as interesting because it wasn't combining both of my majors because I am actuarial science and finance. There wasn't enough of that finance aspect to it. And so for my next internship, I knew that I wanted to either interview with life or health companies. And I ended up landing a part-time school year internship at a life insurance company on their specialty benefits team. And that was where I saw a variety of products, different kinds of projects that they put me on throughout the year. And that's kind of how I settled on life. And it helped me land my last internship with life, and then now taking all of my exams on the life side.
Dean or
I'll
Ethan?
say at my company, we do both health and pension consulting. So, and I like the company, so I've been enjoying the work that we've been doing. At some point, I'll need to make a decision as to which I prefer more, and I'm not at that point yet. So I don't fully know.
Dean?
I interned at a PNC company. I did not find the word interesting. My second one was still a PNC company, but on the consulting side. I did like consulting, so I tried to keep it in the short term because I did like the math behind it, and I did understand the theories, like the Born Here Ferguson model. I understood the chain ladder very well. So I wanted to keep it in that avenue, go down consulting, and the flip side for the SOA was health and medicine. So I figured health consulting would be the avenue also. If I'm not mistaken, it has the most opportunity, the most jobs. So I figured that'd be a good option as well.
Very good. This is a question that I think is really good for everybody, whether you're an actuary or not. What are some tips for networking, including where and what the engagement looks like to make a lasting impression?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really big. Connecting with people. I feel like if you set a goal, maybe every week or every month, I want to connect with X amount of people, and I don't want to just connect with them, but I want to send them a message, maybe ask them a question about their career or set up time to chat over Zoom. I think that is really valuable. And once you meet one person, that's how that network grows, and they'll introduce you to two more people, and then they'll introduce you to more people. So making sure that you're putting continuous effort into doing that is helpful.
Dean, Ethan,
I think there's
other
like
tips?
two approaches you can go. One, Simmer hit on the head, the cold connecting route, and eventually just finding a mentor in that way, like following up with people, annoy people, tell them updates about your life, ask them about themselves, because everyone wants to help other people. Look at us right now on a call, like everyone wants to be a help. So everyone likes to be reached out to, asking for advice, asking for knowledge. And you can't just do it one time. You gotta kind of annoy them a little bit. Like set up a few Zoom calls, follow up, tell them updates. I got a lot of different references and people that I met from separate companies from a mentor who knew a big network. And then the other approach would be just in your day-to-day life. If you're in college, join a ton of clubs. Like I think the social aspect is underrated, and networking doesn't even go just past actuaries. It's people in general. I can network with Ethan's cousin and he brings up Ethan and then he's like, oh, my cousin's an actuary, actually. Like, and then if you keep a good relationship with that person, that can trickle into something. So it's about being yourself and being that same person to everybody.
I'll say for me personally, I'm pretty bad at networking, so please connect with me on LinkedIn later and we'll both have done some solid networking.
Networking is hard. I also wanted to add from the Society of Actuaries perspective, we offer the opportunity for any candidate to attend Candidate Connect events during the SOA major meetings. So our next one is going to be in New York during Val Act. You get to attend the first day of this meeting with all of the members that are attending the Valuation Actuary Symposium. And you get to talk to them. You get to reach out to SOA staff, actuaries, employers, anybody who is attending the event. So that is a very easy way to attend the this event. This event is, I'm not going to say the price, but it is hundreds of dollars for members, but it is only $20 for affiliate members. So if you're in the New York area, you're welcome to join us. We, as I said, we do this during all the major events. So the next one is going to be during the annual meeting, which will take place in National Harbor, Maryland. So the registration, I think, is open for all of them. If you have any questions, obviously, please reach out to me and I can send you in the right way. I have included the link for the VALACT. The registration is still open and it's going to be August 26th in New York. And another thing that I wanted to say about the mentoring, you have access to the platform Mentor Link, which is free and available to you as part of your affiliate membership. And again, in the SOI Explorer tool, you also have a, you can also click on actuarial clubs and it will tell you what actuarial clubs are in your area. So those are tools that are available to you through your affiliate membership. We are 10 minutes away. We have time for a couple more questions. Okay. Hi, I'm Makabara from Kenya. Would you recommend pursuing associateship qualifications by writing the exams or attending a master's degree with UEC? Any pros and cons? Thanks.
Well, I think one of the cons to attending a master's program that has UEC is you're not going to get all of your exams done. And there isn't a guarantee that you will receive UEC credit and you'll end up having to take the exam the regular way instead. So I think there's still value to just taking the exams a normal way.
Mm-hmm. Ethan, Dean, anything to add to that?
I'll say sort of a strange piece of advice here is that a lot of actuaries are they're very used to having to have taken all of these exams to get their position, and it's valuable to sort of, hold on, how am I trying to say this? Oh, if you take the exams, other actuaries who have taken the exams will say, oh yeah, okay, you took the exams. But if you get a degree and get a bunch of credits through that, they won't necessarily be able to relate to that as much, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. So there's value in taking the exams, if only for that.
Absolutely. This is a question about the score. Do exam scores matter or is a 6 enough? I think what they mean is when you're looking for a job or that internship, does the fact that you get a 6 or an 8 make a difference, or is a 6 enough?
A pass is a pass. No one ever asks for your exam score. That's not something that I've ever talked about with anyone, even friends of mine that are in the profession that take exams around the same time as me. We never discuss our scores. A pass is a pass. We celebrate the wins.
Very good. Ethan, Dean, do you have a different?
Entirely agreed. I've
I mean,
never talked about my score.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone cares. Like a 6, a 10. And I think it's something to be said too about don't overstudy and get like a 10 when you could have saved a half your life during that time period and still pass comfortably. So yeah, pass the pass.
Very good. And then I think we have time for one more question. What is the biggest piece of advice that you can give to an aspiring actuary? Anybody that is either taking an exam or that is thinking about taking an exam?
It's the most boring piece of advice, but it's just study. Study first, networking and stuff comes after. But if you can get the exam under your belt, you've got a foot in the door.
When it comes to exams, I think the biggest advice that people don't touch on is being like in touch with all the information about the exam. Because for one, every test I've taken, I go to the pass rates, how many percent of people pass it every single sitting, to get a gauge of, okay, how hard is this? Get an idea of what generally the pass like number is, like how much do I have to get right? Like for example, I believe FAM is like 55% or 58% to pass. So I knew going into that, okay, let's emphasize the bigger sections here and to try to tackle this so that I'm not breaking my back over the sections that are worth 5% of the exam. and then going to Reddit and seeing people answer questions and ask questions about it, and getting a whole grasp of what you're doing, your odds of what you're tackling, so that when you get there, you have a better shot.
I think my advice applies to all aspects of the career. It's just be curious about anything and everything. Ask questions, because that's what helps you learn. That's what helps you figure out what you like and you don't like. And yeah, it's pretty foundational to being a successful actuary, I would say. So stay curious.
That's always a good advice in life too. Stay curious. Well, we have 5 more minutes. I just wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted to ask a question has been able to ask a question. I might have not asked some of the ones that were repeated questions. So if you didn't hear the answer to what you asked, it's because it probably was answered before maybe you joined the call. So this is going to be recorded and available for you at your digital library for the affiliate membership. So it should be up and live on Monday or Tuesday of next week. I want to thank Dean, Ethan, and Simran for taking the time to join us. They're all very busy. So I appreciate you guys taking this time to answer all the questions that our candidates have for today, and joining us for a lunch and learn. Thank you very much. I hope, do you have any parting words for the candidates that are joining us today?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody still has any lingering questions, I'm sure we'd all be happy to connect on LinkedIn and answer them. So please feel free to reach out.
You took the words out of my mouth.
And then you just started a new job, so you probably are super busy, but
It's okay. I mean, I just moved to a new city. I definitely am adjusting to it. I have a lot of free time outside of it to meet people. Reach out. I'd love to answer more questions, talk, meet more people. I have questions for other people too. So maybe I'll ask one back.
yes, that's a whole thing about communicating and networking. We all have questions, and you never know who's going to have the answer. So that's all for today for Lunch and Learn. And I am Marta Jimenez Lotter. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on LinkedIn, or I am going to put my email in the chat, and you can reach me at jimenez-lotter@soa.org. Thank you, and goodbye.